shoulders. You can turn my life from green to red. But I ain't gonna be no squarehead. You can burn my bridges down for laughing. Ha 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 ha. You can call me a fool for crashing. You can make me stare down at the floor. You can make me listen while you snore. You can do everything that I have said. But I ain't gonna be no squarehead. All right, Andy. Yeah, just warm me up here a little bit. Make my position low as a dog. You can trick me with your social fog. You can criticize my very bad. You can call my treasures a heap of slag. But you might as well eat lunch instead. Ooh, good. Because I ain't gonna be no squarehead. 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 Ain't gonna be no squarehead. I ain't gonna be no squarehead. I ain't gonna be no squarehead. No square, no square, no squarehead. Square, no square, no squarehead. Square, no square, no squarehead. I ain't gonna be no squarehead. Good to see you, I tell you. All right. So this is TV, but I'm not. Let's fucking do it. I looked up at the radio tower. Heard a song called Driving Wheel. So doctors, trailers, tractors, coffee working. This is the song of my heritage, from the bad to the brutal. Cold metal, that's what it be. Cold metal, from sea to sea. Cold metal, it's how we win, and also how we sin. How we sin, how we sin, how we sin, how we sin. Hendrix tune, cold metal. If you bother a beat, the mother of the street. Cold metal, it rolls on by. Cold metal, gonna raise it high. Cold metal, it'll leave it fly. Rust buckets in the sky. Cold metal, it's got to be skeleton of the free. Cold metal. It's got to be the better. Save a tree, save a tree, save a tree, save a tree, save a tree. Well, all right, all right, all right. So, I'm gonna do a song right now, which is about wanting to get high on you instead of on drugs. I want to get high. I want to get so fucking high. I am high. I'm real high on you. Terrorist in my heart. baby. The morning sun is drunk, baby, drinking of your soul, baby. Everything I know is the way your body glows. I'm getting high on you. I'm getting high on you. I'm getting high on you. Oh, high on you. I'm getting 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 high. Yeah, I'm getting high. I'm getting real, real high. I'm getting out of this place. I'm getting high on you. I'm getting high on you. I'm getting high on you. I'm getting high. Yeah. Yeah, man. Corruption in the air. I really need you. You got two brave eyes, and I really love them. I'm getting high on you. Yeah. All right. Okay, so the TV show's over. Now let's play No Fun. Yeah. Woo! No fun, my babe. No fun. No fun, my babe. No fun. No fun to be alone, walking by myself. No fun to be alone in love with nobody else. No fun, my baby. No fun. No fun, my baby. No fun. No fun to hang around, feeling that same old way. No fun to hang around, freak out for another day. Maybe go out, maybe stay home, maybe call mom on the telephone. Well, come on, 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 well, come on. It's no fun to be alone. It's no fun to be alone. Hang on, don't you let me go. It's no fun to be alone. I said I'll be alone. I said I'll be alone. It's no fun. What I say, come on in there. I say, come on, let me hear you tell them. Let me hear you tell them. Let me hear you tell them. Tell them how I feel. Come on and let me hear you tell them. Tell them how I feel. Yeah. How I feel. feel when you feel. Sometimes you gotta feel. Sometimes you gotta feel. Sometimes you gotta feel. Sometimes you gotta feel. No fun, my babe. No fun. No fun, my babe. No fun. No fun to be alone, walking by myself. No fun to be alone in love. Yeah, dog. Hello back there, like a dog. Yeah, baby. I'm so messed up, I want you here. In my room, I want you here. Now we're gonna be face to face. And I'll lay right down in my favorite place. Now I wanna be a dog. Now I wanna be a dog. Now I wanna be a dog. I'm here to entertain you. Good evening, fella. Well, now I'm ready to close my eyes. And now I'm ready to close my mind. And now I'm ready to feel your hand. And lose my heart on the burning sand. Yeah. Now I wanna be a dog. Now I wanna be a dog. Now I wanna be a dog. It's better music than you realize. Well, come on! It's so hard to get things going on TV. TV! 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 Now I'm ready to close my eyes. Now I'm ready to close my mind. Now I'm ready to feel your hand and lose my heart on the burning sand. Now I wanna be a dog. Now I wanna be a dog. Now I wanna be a dog. Yeah. All right. Oh, that feels good. Yeah, I got it right, man. Yeah. thanks for having us. And thanks for coming, eh? I like the TV.
I know. I'm 5 days.
I was very impressed.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You probably felt like it wasn't enough. Like you
No.
wanted it. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
I just felt such a clumsy oaf. I don't know about you first time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The
Yeah.
manners and
Yeah.
you think, I wish I could learn
Yeah.
all this stuff. And
You could just have a quick voice level,
Sure.
quick
Yeah.
question answer. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a precision there that's amazing. I mean, just the way, even the way most of them can draw. Like this stuff.
Really?
My wife did this just freehand, copying designs I like in a book. You know, it took like each one took about 3 minutes with a marker. And look at the, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
And I said, oh, that's really good. And she said, oh, we can all do
chat,
that.
please.
Oh, okay. Great.
I just thought I was offending people
Tim,
the whole
just
time. I didn't know
advance
that.
to your right, please. Can you?
This way?
Yeah, just bring the whole thing in.
How's that?
Oh, camera
Too
right.
far?
Sorry, man.
Sorry. How's that?
That green's pretty. I like the green.
It's been nearly 2 years,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it, but
I spent about half of it touring and the other half writing this. Yeah.
yeah, I've seen you on tour a couple of times. You
Yeah.
came to the December one in Brixton.
Uh-huh.
That was '86.
Uh-huh.
I think June in Hammersmith.
Did you come to Hammersmith? Yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Thanks.
It was hard to say. I mean, I actually enjoyed Brixton more because that was like
It's a
I
better-
hadn't seen it for a long time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And but Hammersmith was more rock actually.
It was.
Blah, blah,
It
blah.
was,
You
yeah,
were coming
yeah.
more towards this end.
Yeah. This is even more so now. I feel what I'm doing with this band now is really it's a good band.
Do you? I think we're rolling.
Oh, are we?
Are we rolling, Mike?
We're just.
All right.
Yeah.
I had a feeling we'd start on.
Yeah.
Say when we're
Yeah, I
on.
recognise the guy, the guy, Seamus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, but and I've seen the talk you did with A&M. That girl Lauren.
Right, lights.
Oh, sure.
seen
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I felt it was pretty thorough.
It was an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
good.
I felt it was, well, I think if you're going to do, that's sort of, I mean, I don't want to spend an hour.
No, we're not going to Iggy, don't worry. Be 15 minutes
yeah,
maximum,
yeah,
okay?
yeah, great.
And I'll try and, I'm glad I've seen that because I'll try and avoid certain things, but I'll
Okay,
pluck
sure.
certain things out and try and make it.
Yeah, you betcha.
Just sit forward. Just sit back a touch.
Back a bit.
Yeah,
Is
that's
this
it.
bothering anyone?
Yeah.
Do you want us
Yeah.
down?
It will help us if you don't. We're just catching the light on you there. If you
Right.
don't lean forward this way too
Okay,
much. So
I'll
just
lean
make
back
yourself
like that.
comfortable.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, here we go.
Wanna...
Very quiet.
talk about instinct and
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
But I'd also like to talk to you about
Anything.
Los Angeles a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Because
sure.
we're doing a special program, and this is the one you're going to be in.
Sure, anything, yeah.
All right, Tim, in your own time.
Iggy, do you feel there's been a huge difference in Blah 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 and Instinct? Because I do.
Instinct's more, it's more my album. When I did Blah Blah Blah, I used David Bowie for producer, and a lot of the musical input was his.
Yeah.
On this one, the only person that wrote anything on it besides myself was Steve, who gave basic chord patterns on 3 or 4 of the songs. So it's this one came more from me.
Do you feel that they're indicative of 2 different audiences? Because Blah Blah Blah, more melodic, more Bowie influence. This one, very hard driving rock.
I wondered about that, but I wouldn't want to underestimate anybody or limit them. You know, like, well, because you're wearing that kind of suit, you must only like this. You know, so I figure I'll just the best thing to do is just put out what's in your gut and then wait and see.
How do you
See
feel?
who likes it. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about having a hit, the first one in 20 years of cult status, and you're suddenly your top 10 singles artist? Real Wild Child.
You mean with Wild Child?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it was like I didn't feel anything from it. It was just sort of a thing like, okay, that's done. It wasn't. I didn't get a out of it. It didn't give me a jolt, because, you know, I think in the end, it's really the only jolt you're going to get is from people and from your own self-satisfaction. It's not a satisfying sort of feeling at all.
I think for a lot of people, though, when they like, say, an artist that the general public doesn't know about, which is the case in Britain before the hit, I think, to see suddenly Iggy Pop's in the charts is terribly refreshing. And then we see on Top of the Pops.
You mean you figure because I did that show and had that hit record that more people know about me than used to?
Yeah, definitely. How about that? But it's true. It's true. But what amused me was the lack of seriousness with which you took Top of the Pops. And apparently there were even complaints about it afterwards.
Oh, because I didn't sing into the microphone. Well, I think that that show is done in a mode that's called playback.
Yeah.
And by definition, that's not a serious endeavor in the first place. Basically, you go there and they lock you in a little room in the basement for 8 or 9 hours and bring you up for rehearsals when they feel it's necessary, and then shepherd you back down, throw you a biscuit and a tea, and so it's not the sort of situation in which you feel that you're doing serious music. So I think it's best to just play around with it and have a good time.
What about Wired Tonight, which is live? What are you doing?
Well, this is completely different. This is real music, played live with my band, and all I basically want to do is come out and sing for people.
What tracks are you doing?
I'm going to do Squarehead,
Right.
and Cold Metal, and High on You, and then I think I'm going to just do some of my old songs, which you probably won't see them on TV, but I'm just going to do them because there's people that are good enough to come and see me sing, and maybe they'd like to hear them, you know.
You talk a lot in interviews that I've read and sometimes in songs about being impressed by things, particularly when you're younger, that you were impressed by your first swear word. You were impressed by the Dum Dum Boys. Is there anything that impresses you now you've been around the world 78 times?
Right. Probably. I get impressed by a lot of the people I meet doing this, and a lot of the people that come to my gigs. I get impressed when I hear a good guitar player, a good drummer. You know, I really like my band. I'm impressed with that. I think more than anything, I'm probably impressed with just how much fun it is to be alive. I really couldn't have foreseen this 10 years ago because I wasn't having as much fun then as I am now.
Before,
I thought the idea was like you got older and the walls started closing in and everything got more miserable, but it hasn't been the case.
Would the 21-year-old Iggy and the Stooges have been impressed by the 41-year-old Iggy now, in that case?
I would reckon so, yeah. Yeah.
Surprised even?
Maybe so, you know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in the same way that, I mean, I really, you know, I was listening to Muddy Waters then, you know.
That's
he
right.
was in his 50s at the time.
Well, what interests me is that at that age you were hanging out with older people in Chicago and trying to study the blues, which you rejected.
Sure. Yeah, ultimately, because it weren't my form, you know. But I've always liked older people, you know. I've always figured, like, basically, I really like a nice person, no matter what age they are, and I say death to assholes, you know, whatever age they are. I mean, I know lots of young people that are pretty useless, frankly. You know, it's like, oh, the youth cult because they're young. I don't see it, you know. Well, I'm looking more for the person, you know. And I think in this world, from the moment you're born, there's one thing sure anyway, and that's that you're going to get older and die. So like, what's the difference? Everybody in this world, I think, has all ages in them simultaneously. That's how I look at it anyway.
Well, one thing you don't seem impressed by throughout your career is your homeland. And it seems to me that you fear it and sometimes even loathe America, but stay there because you thrive from it creatively. Would that be fair to say?
Well, one reason I stay there is because I'm a really stubborn person, and I'm determined that sooner or later they're gonna give me a listen too, and I suppose I wouldn't mind having a hit there either. You know what I mean? You know, they'll probably go, oh, well, didn't feel anything, you know, whatever. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just don't want to give it up. That's all, really, basically. I think I have a bone to pick with them. And you know, when I started out, and then for long after, a lot of people there tried to treat me like a joke, and I've just kept knocking on the door. I've just played gigs in really tight little club settings all across that country, and I've gone out and shown them that without some silly arena lighting and smoke and fire and all this stuff that a lot of people are leaning on these days, and digital stuff, I've shown them that I can show up in a room and give them what they really need musically, and I'm out to prove my worth to the people that live where I live. But damn it, you know, that's just something real basic. You know, I think everybody wants that out of life. You know.
But you're also selling them a version of themselves. Like a filmmaker who's always trying to find America, strikes me to some extent, lyrically at least, you've tried to find, or define at least America, even in cold metal. You're slightly autobiographical.
That's fair. Yeah. It's like a photographer.
Have you decided anything?
I don't think a person in my position has to. All I really have to decide is out of all this stuff I see, which I'm going to mention and which I'm going to keep my mouth shut about. There's plenty I could say that I don't. You know what I mean?
For many, Los Angeles is the end of the American dream, and you've certainly met very mixed fortunes. I mean, the bottom could be the moment when you committed yourself to the Neuropsychiatric
Institute in 1975. Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously your problem, but how much did the city itself
contribute to my problem? I don't want to blame that town for my hassle. You know, I had a song called "Kill City" where I said where I was talking about Los Angeles, and I always had the vision that it's where the debris meets the sea, in the same way that sometimes old wood and cans and bottles and things drift across a sea and finally wash up on shore. My first impression of that city when I first went there was that there was a kind of human detritus of America that has just drifted to that shore until they can go no further. It seems to be a combination of the kind of people who have insatiable ambitions and often huge talent, and the other people who just don't fit in anywhere. And at least in LA, if you're a bum, you can get a tan. You know, it's easier. You won't freeze at night.
Where does talent cross into madness, though, that you see so much of in Los Angeles, and what happened to you?
Well, it's in fact in LA, and not just in LA. I'm seeing it all over America right now. It crosses into madness when you can't communicate with other people anymore. very important point. And you see people in New York, where I live, you see these poor guys just destroyed, walking along the street. You'll see black guys that are racially angry, going, "Good fucking motherfucking white cocksuckers!" You talk to no one, just expressing their anger because nobody's gonna listen. Or you see just crazed people, you know, and you see it in LA too. I saw a guy on Sunset Boulevard the other day doing these elaborate pirouettes, and he was actually doing something that was near one element of what I used to do in my stage act, which is he was acting out what society was doing to him. He's hitting himself and kicking himself and down on the ground and writhing, and he was saying, "You've done this to me, and I want you to see it." And I don't know what to make of all that. Sometimes it hurts me, and other times, for the sake of my own ambitions and my own self-possession, I just ignore it. You know, like most people do. But there's a lot of loose screws on the street over there right now.
Dr. Timothy Leary, we talked to while we were there, who was the drug guru of the 60s, said it was the city of the future. And
I think that's fair to say. It certainly is. Even in obvious terms, that the whole population of America is moving south. I think because it's a tired country, frankly.
And it wants a beach.
I think the country wants a holiday. Yeah, I think historically it's a tired country right now, and they're all moving to Florida, Texas, what's called the Sun Belt, Southern California. Those are your growth areas. I think people are just fed up with working hard and being cold.
Did you?
I'm sure there are people here who can identify with that.
You know, definitely.
You know.
Steve Jones, who's on the LP, seems to be one of a group of English rockers out there.
There are a lot of them out there.
Involved in the bike scene. Are you involved in that at all?
No, I've never ridden one and have no interest but to look at one. They're beautiful.
What do you make
machine,
of it all? The
aesthetically,
the scene that's there.
I would say it has a lot to do with the. I think people want a feeling of power in their life and a feeling of self-determination, and I think also a lot of people in America, and in fact in the modern world, feel a sense of, like Lady Macbeth, always washing her hands, from the constant compromises that we're faced with. Constant, it just don't stop, and the intrusions all the time, and the fact that very few people talk to each other anymore. You've got TV for that. You know, who needs friends, right? And because of this, I think people feel kind of dirty, and when they get on that bike, it's like a hyper bath. It's the air rushing by and cleansing you and making you, and also the feeling that you can determine where you're going to go.
Straight question, Steve Jones. There are rumours that he can't tour with you in England because he's wanted on some dreadful criminal charge.
No, he's not. He's not. In fact, he's working on his own album right now. I like working with Steve, and I would imagine we.
There's not a problem with him coming back to England.
No, no. He's not wanted on anything. That was cleared up.
Steve is only one of many people in the post-punk generation who've been influenced by you. You know, hero to heroes. But some of these heroes are far more successful than you. How does that feel, the fact they worship you and they're...
I know, I've read stuff about this before. I'll tell you, it's not a problem because there are a lot of people who've taken from what I do, and maybe they've done way better in terms of commercial success, but the reason they have is because they have other elements to offer to that sort of success that I don't have. They might have like a nicer bone structure, more palatable to the mass, or a more commercial voice, things like that. So, I mean, I have something to offer, and what I'm interested really much in doing in this world is taking what I have to offer and developing that fully, so that at the end of the day, or at the end of my life, as it were, I want to say two things to myself. I want to say that I've lived up to my own immortality, because I have a sense that a human being is immortal in terms of his works in this life, and you're going to be, you know, you're going to judge yourself at the end of the day on that. And the other thing is I just want to be able to do well enough to live while I do it. You know, you got to eat and have shelter and stuff. So as long as I have that, I don't think it really matters to me if I sell like X amount of records or X times 4, or if the other guy sold more. You know, I mean, I don't really feel in competition with sort of those who think massive. It's not a problem.
You mentioned your
Do you know
voice.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's nice to, you know, it's nice for me just to know that people listened to what I did. You know, it's nice for me when somebody says, yeah, you know, I heard your song, and you know, I nicked a little bit of that for this song. Or when I see my turns of phrase showing up on other people's work, that's good.
What interests
And
me
also, honestly, it's also good for business, because, you know, when I did what I first did, I was considered way out on a limb, and nobody knew what came after was going to come after. But if what came after didn't come after, I wouldn't have survived. You know, everybody would have said I would have been like Wild Man Fisher, because you know, he hasn't really started a school of hundreds of musicians singing versions of Merry Go Round. You know what I'm saying? You know, but people are singing some of my songs. So.
Well, you've said that performance is more important than life itself to you. Now that strikes me as an incredible thing to say.
Well, that's just my same. You know, I mean, Shakespeare said, "What? We're all poor players. All the world a stage." So again, I think it's down to really. I think I'm smarter and better off to satisfy my own idea of immortality than to worry too much about how many bucks I can pile up and put in a bank.
Final question.
Sure.
The voice seems to be submerged in terms of public attention behind performance and rebel image.
Yeah.
And strikes me that it's a very underrated thing.
I'm getting better. I'm working on
frustrated
it.
about that, though? I don't know. I'm saying that I think the voice has always been a dominant part of Iggy Pop to me.
Yeah.
But it's ignored generally. Do you ever felt that?
Yeah. It's probably my own fault for engaging in so many distracting acts, you know. But I don't mind because I think it's the other stuff that is easier to talk about. For, let's face it, most media attention that I or anyone gets in this world is real casual and superficial. Most writers don't have time to really check out their subjects. They don't bother. Real journalism is pretty much a goner these days. I read articles about myself all the time where it's obvious that someone's just read a file and then thrown it together. So I think the actual people who actually listen to my work, they're very aware of what I can do vocally. And I think that they, you know, the UPI would not care about me sticking pencils in my flesh or whatever it is I did. It wouldn't be important if I didn't have something musically to back that up. But a lot of guys stick pencils in their flesh, you know.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tim. All right, great.
I was getting this the whole time.
Yeah.
But, I could have gone on a long time, but I want to rest my voice.
Yeah, I want to.